Hey, how you guys doing? Got some very interesting news ever since Apple released their Apple Silicon M1 chips, which kind of blew the world by storm in the tech industry and also for the general public out there. There has been quite a bit of news out there even since then, especially by Bloomberg. Now, these are just take them as rumors, but often Bloomberg is very accurate with some of their news. And we're going to talk about that now. And one of them starting out is Apple supposedly making a half-size Mac Pro with the M1 Apple Silicon chip. Now they're speculating, they don't know if it's going to replace the current Mac Pro or the current 2019 Mac Pro, or it's going to be sold alongside the current Mac Pro. And just before this news was released, I was going to make another video on how the Apple's M1 Silicon is not going to replace the Mac Pro for various reasons. Even though this news came out, I still don't think that's going to happen. But anyway, that's going to be a separate video. And I think it's going to be sold alongside the current Mac Pro. And I think this also goes along the lines that for a very long time, consumers also, or power users, wanted a kind of like something not as powerful or as big and expensive as a regular Mac Pro, but something smaller, a tower that they can put in their own, perhaps expansion ports, PCIe and more memory and things like that. So this might be geared toward them. We'll see. Another blurb in the news by Bloomberg, still Bloomberg. Supposedly, they said Apple's also working on its next version of the M1 Silicon chip, which is going to be the M1X. And this is going to be fantastic considering how powerful even the M1 Silicon CPU already is. Supposedly, it could be anywhere, it's going from 16 to 32 cores, and a GPU is possibly as much as 128 cores, which is repeated, supposedly maybe coming out in 2021, 2022, something like that. We'll see. And also, this is news coming from the AMD, who of course makes CPU chips and also graphics as well, graphic cards. And they've been actually competing well with Intel. And Intel's been really slow on development. And in some cases, I think AMD is actually far surpassing Intel as far as with mobile chips, for instance. Perhaps their AMD chips are not necessarily as powerful maybe than some of the Intel chips. I don't know. We could go the pros and cons with that, but that's another video maybe, perhaps in the future. But supposedly AMD is going to come out with their own version of a system on a chip SoC, very similar to what Apple's doing with their M1 and possibly M1X, supposedly coming out. And supposedly AMD is going to come out with two versions of this competitor chip, one with RAM and one without. And I've been speculating on this as well. The reason for this, and this actually goes back to my future video that I wanted to talk about how the M1 chip is not necessarily going to compete with the 2019 Mac Pro. But anyway, so versions with the RAM is for probably everyday use. So it's something similar we're seeing with Apple, because Apple has it's mostly their Mac Mini and MacBook Thin and one MacBook Pro, the 13-inch. Now, the one without, because in very specific applications, there's some people, they really need to be able to upgrade or put in the amount of RAM they need. Could be for video editors, could be for visual effect artists. Even perhaps the 16 gigabytes of RAM that even Apple's offering is not going to be enough in some special case uses. So having the one where it comes without, you can hopefully upgrade your own RAM to your specific needs, which it kind of, I'm speculating this as well, because not having RAM built into the same chip, that will also actually probably have a performance, I'm trying to think of the word here. It's going to reduce performance, because I think the reason why the system on a chip with the Silicon M1 is so fast is because the RAM is located in the same chip as the CPU. So it's using the same faster bus, and so it makes it faster on the whole. So if you locate the RAM outside the chip, there's going to be a bottleneck going from the slower RAM on the motherboard to the faster architecture inside the chip. So we'll see. But I think there is, in some cases, there is a use for having coming with RAM and without, as far as located inside the SoC chip. So this is very exciting news, and I definitely want to cover that, and look out for my video that I'm going to be coming out with, and that, of course, is how the M1 SoC chip, silicon chip, is not going to really meant to be competing with the 2019 Mac Pro. I think they're still going to come out for the next, they're going to keep that architecture for at least the next 8 years or so, right around that time period. So look out for that video. In the meantime, thanks for watching, and see you guys later.